Hey, what's going on? Happy Saturday evening. This is kiodiekin. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know this is Saturday. You guys are probably all out doing your thing, but we have a nice little show lined up for you guys today. And so I invited some special guests on here because primarily I wanted to introduce to you guys, if you guys haven't heard them before, some other cool community members that I've known and respected for quite some time. And quite a few topics we're going to discuss here today. We're going to talk a little bit about emulation, obviously arcade games, get some perspective from you, the community members, but primarily get a better understanding of what you guys feel and think what's going on in the arcade retro gaming genre, as a whole. And so one of the particular guests you guys will know, and we do have Ron Fowler joining us today. He has an impressive game room, and I really admired everything he's been doing for, I think it's the past 3.5, 4 years. I remember when he first built his game room and ripped out the basement, remodeled everything, and he bought a bunch of one-ups, and now he has a bunch of authentic arcade cabinets. And then, of course, we have Level1online and Wolfanoz joining us today. So we're going to try to keep everything concise. These are some awesome guys that you guys should definitely talk to. Level 1 has a channel. Ron Fowler, he doesn't have a YouTube channel. Wish he did. And then, of course, we have Wolfanoz. You guys are familiar with him with retropie gaming and some other cool things that he does. So let me go ahead and bring all the gentlemen on right now. Let's see here. Go ahead and bring them all on. What is going on, fellas? Good afternoon, and thanks for joining today.
Howdy.
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. Just glad you guys were able to jump on here. Very impromptu. I think we were just talking last night about just jumping on and just kind of chatting it up. But today's chat topic and chat, just wanted to speak with you guys in the community about what do you think is going on with your own retro gaming setup, your arcade games, and just some of the things going on with arcade one-up and just gaming in general. So, Ron, let's start with you, man. I know, I give kudos to you. You're jack of all trades. I mean, you post a number of different things out there online, things that you're working on. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with your game room setup.
Yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of everything. Primarily a mechanic. I grew up in the early '80s, so arcades were everywhere at that time.
Right.
Always loved gaming. I never was like hardcore gaming, but I always loved them. Always were, in the skating ring arcades. I, started to. I guess my first one. Let me see. It'd probably be easier just to turn this around. That was my first cabinet, the Rampage. I seen it, and at that time, arcade one-ups were a pretty reasonable price.
Right.
I bought it, and it was a lot of fun. So, I kept buying more and more of them. But, the sticks and the buttons were all cheaper quality. So, basically, I put sand Y sticks in most of them. And this is the only one I really put lit buttons in, other than my Ghostbusters. But I kind of went away from that. It looks good, just not really my thing, I guess. But
right,
did a lot of graphics on them, and then I built the Ghostbusters cabinet pretty much from ground up. It was a Street Fighter that I gutted.
Okay.
Let me flip my cam back again. Well,
Hey,
sorry.
hey, Ron, did you end up keeping all your one-ups, or did you get rid of some of them to make space for the new ones, the new authentic cabs?
Yeah, I've got rid of a few of them, not many. My plan is to continue to get rid of them. Eventually, as I keep getting original cabinets, what I'm going to do, there'll be a few I'll probably keep for a while, but most of them I'm going to try to get rid of as I run out of room.
Right. Okay.
Now, my basement's full where you're seeing right here. Here in a minute what I'm going to do. Let's see. There we go. So,
Oh, nice.
my basement's full right now from what you can see, but behind this games right over here, there's a wall I put up, and I've got another 16 or 17 wide by about 23 or 4 foot long.
Right.
So I've got quite a bit more room back there to add more games. And once I run out, then I'll probably get rid of my skee ball and air hockey. And then, the rest of the one-ups and start going from there. They have their place, but I'm probably not buying many more of them just because of the price and the quality. It's just, I can buy full-size arcades for that price now.
So true.
Uh,
Wolfanoz, you there, man?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much. So, what do you think about Ron's game room? And I know that you had kind of plans
Well,
for your own.
yeah, mine's still a work in progress since I've just moved into a house in June and haven't had time since I work long days. But I have 6 pinballs myself. I got 3 real cabs. I got a Missile Command, a Donkey Kong, and a Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have a handful of arcade one-ups. So, I'm not totally anti-arcade one-up until recent history. So,
Right.
but other than that, image-wise, nothing with the Pi 4 since I've pretty much done a handful of them.
Right.
Probably going to work on an Ambernick handheld. I haven't decided which one yet.
Okay.
One of the Ambernick handhelds. Do something with that since I've never really done a handheld. So, and see what I can push that. Push on that. So, that's pretty much it, man.
Sweet. So, Ron and Wolfanoz, wanted to ask you, did you guys see my recent video about that Flycast Dojo emulator?
Oh, yeah.
no, I didn't get a chance to see that.
Okay. I think Wolfanoz, you said you watched it. And Ron, just to kind of bring you up to speed, the emulator's not ready. If you've been following like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Blitz in the 1-Up arena, and there are notes on there where devs even said back in May that there was no Android support at that time, especially working with online. So just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that, knowing that they've sold a product that hasn't been fully ready, and they're really working on trying to get it to work.
Well, it's pretty typical, I think, for them lately. Of course, I think that's wrong. But unless they change what they're doing, I'm kind of done with them just because of that kind of thing.
Yep.
Not trying to bash them at all, but the prices that people were paying for this and everything going on, yeah, nothing would surprise me like that. I mean, I'm expecting that sort of thing to happen now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Wolfanoz, any thoughts?
Oh, I have plenty. Yeah. Yeah, like, you can't put... I mean, we've all beat this dead horse 5 million times over already with the community, but you cannot put online play when there is no online play for a product. Because, like, even Stern Pinball Company puts out, they'll put out, like, a 0.5 version of code, but at least it's working code in a game. And it works. And yeah, maybe they have to update things like wizard mode and everything else in a pinball game, but it's working code. This is like half-assed code. They don't, like you just said, they're trying to borrow from an emulator that's out there and it's not fully completed, and they're trying to get this emulator completed on their own accord because it's their ass. Yeah. So, this doesn't look good on them. I mean, you have people who have Blitz and people who have MVC2, and they're going to be 6 months from now, they're going to be like, well, where's the online play? And they're way past their their warranty or their return dates. So, it's a bunch. It doesn't look good for them. I mean, I know people personally that are ready to say, I'm bringing this back because they're still within 30 days. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, I trust me when I tell you, I loved it when they hit the scene. Like, we're going to get actual recreations of, albeit smaller. I have 5-6 games myself, but. We can't continually go down this road of we're going to half-ass everything and put it out there, and it's we're not getting the full product. You can't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. That's all truth there. But No, I definitely share the same sentiments, and especially when customers buying something aren't familiar with the retro gaming scene and how it works, behind the scene. But again, that's why I've said we need more devs, we need more image makers, we need more people behind the scenes,
I mean,
speaking out
quite
or shedding lights on a lot of this.
quite honestly, we like, and I've told you this personally, we put a lot more into images than these guys have with their professional product.
Right, right.
We put more to make sure everything works on top of, and we're doing all this on our free time. And here you have a major company that's, that's doing half-assed stuff, and I'm just being directly honest. I mean, you can't continually put out stuff like this and expect people to buy it for $700 especially. It's not. I mean, you're 3/4 of the way there. No pun intended. 3/4 of the way there to getting a full-size cab with everything you want in it.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, and especially if you're here like in California where you could get a cab for like $50 to $100.
Right.
People have that kind of stuff on offer up. I mean, it looks really
tempting. I bought
tempting.
a Narrow Fighter's cab and I made it my own and put my, stuff in it or someone else's image to try it. So,
wow. Amazing. Ron, question for you. So I know that you're getting all these cabinets. What's typically the price range for most of these authentic cabs where you are?
My area is not the best, I will admit, but I will go through a few that I can remember the price. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to fix some of the things that, like I bought this one, really clean Cruising World. This is my first original cabinet I purchased. I got it for $750, and everything worked, but the monitor wasn't perfect, I guess to say. So I wound up having to put a fly back in. I learned as I went. I'm still learning. But knock on wood, I'm a little over 2 years and it still works good.
Right.
I had to reflow the neck board in it. And really, for $750, and I guess about $80 in parts. So that's not bad. But like the Super Hang On, I gave 6.5 for it, and it's real clean. It's not busted up anywhere. The only thing I did is put grips on it and clean it up a little bit.
I got a missile coming in from Captain's Warehouse that has the MIT Super Missile Attack chip in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's clean too. The only thing that was busted on it was the power switch. So, but I got that fixed.
And this is the last one that I purchased. And I'm like I said, I'm learning as I'm going, but this is the second light gun game I've owned. This one I paid. He had it for $400, and I paid $250 for it. It had $8 and quarters inside it, so come with an extra, I guess. What do you call it? Computer, I guess, with another game.
Right.
And so the games typically go about $80 a piece. So I stole that one. It's good, Had to do a few things to it, and it's been playing great now. That one, I picked this up and it was so dirty I thought it had a monitor problem. Of course, my camera's a little dirty, but anyhow,
Man, that thing looks clean.
Yeah, it's a really, really clean cabinet. And I told him, I'm like, man, I'm not
too clean like that.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, I'm not really sure if it don't have a monitor problem, as blurry as everything is. I said, man, I'm not comfortable giving no more than $400. So I gave $400 for it, cleaned it up good. Luckily, the monitor's good. Put grips and T-molding on. And that one was a pretty good deal. So this one here, the Carnival, is real clean. I wish it had the original guns, but it doesn't. But it does have and I'm told it adds to the value. I'm sure it does a little. It does have a bill, what do you call it, validator, bill collector, whatever. It does have so you can do coins or the bill.
Did somebody mod that? Because I've never seen one of those on our arcade machine.
Now, some of these actually came out with it. I looked it up. From what I understand, they say it makes them worth about $200 more. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm sure you probably couldn't buy that less than $200 if you needed to, but it does work. So he had it for $1,700, and I'm trying to remember. I think I gave $1,100 or $1,200. I think $1,100 though. But it's really, really clean, except for this bottom corner down here. It's got a little chip out of it. But other than
depending
that,
on the title,
great.
they do like really range anywhere from about $400 to about $1,200 generally. Depending on the title. Like if you want to get it like a tapper, it's usually anywhere between like $3,000 and $4,000 now because it's hard to get. So
right. And I'm really interested. How the hell did you get that in your basement?
All right, this is a monster. This thing is 1,200 pounds, almost 1,200 pounds. This marquee on top is over 6 foot long. It comes apart in 5 pieces. Now, it still would not fit through my door. I've got a small door. Right. I had to take it apart even further than what you're supposed to. I gave $2,200, I think, for it, or $3,000. I don't know. Around $2,000, a little over $2,000 for it. Now, this one here, I had to, when I had the bike off, basically somebody had welded it up and kind of just dirt daubed it. So I cut off the whole thing, and I've got some nice angle iron and spot weld. Well, not really spot welded, but stitch weld is what I call about a half inch across, And I don't care what you do, that's not going to break again. So that's basically all I had to do to that part. I added some lights to it. It plays very, very good. The only thing that it does, it's not perfect. This computer and this side, I've taken it all apart, and I cannot find a bad solder joint or anything. But until it warms up, the main bike on the screen will like jumble around a little bit. Once it warms up, it stops doing all that. So it acts like a bad connection or a bad solder joint. What I'm trying to do is find a whole computer working and put it in here and give me time to look at it, because, man, I love playing it, and it's not broke. Once it warms up in about 3 minutes, it plays fine.
Yeah, that's definitely a good find, especially in your neck of the woods, man.
Yeah, and this is a cool game. I've never played it until I bought it. And you can put a special code in here, and your bike becomes a sheep, and you can race sheep, and the music changes and everything.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of a hidden thing. That's pretty cool. But that T2, I gave $750 for it, and it's the cleanest T2 I've ever seen in my life.
Good deal right there, man. You don't find them for that much now.
I mean, look how clean even the graphics are, and they're all original. The only thing, I've got a few little scratches in it on top, but
that's all right. It's just wear and tear.
I mean, this thing, I put some T-molding on, but other than that, it is super clean.
I have a T2 pinball and a T2 and a T3. I've been trying to get a T2 around these parts, but the one guy that did have one had one that was just wrecked. I didn't really want to make it a full project, so
I'm gonna have to do the solenoid in this gun, because after you play it and it gets real hot, that solenoid quits working. So
I believe it.
I've got to put that in.
I tried to find a Revolution X you can put next to that.
Yeah, that would be cool too. Yeah, definitely going to try to do all that eventually. And then the Donkey Kong is my favorite game, because it is the only game in my game room that's an original game.
I just got an original cap myself. So
and this is the only one that I actually played that I have originally in the arcade back when I was a little kid. So that's why it's special. The only thing wrong with it, and these are all original, I've got just a little bit of peeling with the sticker there. And you can see all this is very, very clean. And I've got a little bit of peeling on the sticker here. And I'm wanting to say I gave $1,200 for that. I think I stole that one, because
sweet.
It's mint condition.
All right, let me bring Level 1 online on for just a second. What's going on, Level 1? Are you there?
Who the fuck is this guy? Hey, what's up, everybody? We are Level 1 Online. If you haven't seen my channel, definitely check it out. I, unfortunately, do not own any real arcades. I do not own any arcade 1-up. But I am very observant of the community. I think there's a lot of talented people. Ron Fowler, you have a wealth of knowledge. You definitely deserve to. You should definitely share that knowledge. Make your own YouTube channel. And I tell you what, if you don't have the fancy equipment to edit video, it doesn't matter. All you need is a cell phone. Just hit video record. Just cut. Just try and do it in one take, right? And just show off like little things here and there. Your arcade, by the way, is beautiful. I noticed a couple things. That Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looks beautiful. That Donkey Kong looks beautiful, amazing. I'm not a fan of Donkey Kong. Personally, I think
he doesn't like Atari either.
Donkey Kong.
He's an Atari hater, by the way.
Yeah.
But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is right up my alley. So anyways, I want to really touch base on really quick on what kiodiekin was talking about in regards to the Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Right.
So this is the way I'm an outsider looking in, okay? Once again, I don't own these cabinets, but from what I have observed is they definitely put their best foot forward when it came to the single-player experience, making sure the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 played smooth without lag, had pro players test it, but it seemed like the online was an afterthought. And I hear a lot of the apologists out there, the arcade 1-up apologists, they say, well, you know what? The primary experience is the offline play, the local play. So you shouldn't really care about the online being half-assed or finicky or not even working at all. To me, pardon the language, but that's bullshit. If you're going to pay $600, $700, and they promise you online, it damn well better play online, because you know what?
Yep.
I can go get an Xbox 360 secondhand, or I can get a computer secondhand. I can put Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on that, the Xbox 360 version, if it's still available. I don't know. Or Fightcade. You can get yourself a computer, a secondhand computer, $300, $400 off Craigslist, eBay. Put Fightcade on there, and guess what? You play for free. And guess what? It plays smooth. As long as you have a processor or a graphics card that can support it. But I tell you what, emulating Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is not really that demanding on a PC. It is very demanding on a single board computer. And this is how I met kiodiekin, by the way. If you guys don't know who I am, I met him through, the retropie, Raspberry Pi scene. We have a curiosity for these single chip board computers, to see how hard we can push the hardware. Testing frame rates, testing, how hot does it get, overheating, making sure it has the proper cooling. And those are some of the questions I was asking kiodiekin when we were testing early RetroPie 4 on the Raspberry Pi 4. Is like, hey, how far is the heating creeping up on us until the chip starts to give out and starts to sputter? And I'm going to drop off after this statement. I want to say this. The rumor is, I don't think there's been an official, but the rumor is Time Crisis 4. That has me wondering, can their little single board chips, whatever they use, can it run it properly, at 60 frames, 60 FPS? And can that also be matched on like a Raspberry Pi 4? If it cannot run properly on a Raspberry Pi 4, or any other single board computers out there, then you know what I say, that's an advantage for arcade 1-up at this point. So I'm gonna drop off. I'll let you guys finish my thoughts. Wolfanoz, Ron Fowler, Ron Fowler, great to meet you again. I'm sorry, Wolfanoz, good to see you again. Ron Fowler, great to meet you. I'll check you guys later.
Later, man. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I think we're Level 1.
I got to hold up there because I just noticed Ron pulled a beer out of a Coke machine. Is that legal?
Man, it's a near beer.
I I'm tempted to get one of those myself, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think what Level 1 was talking about, Arcade 1-Up is releasing Time Crisis, the first one, not Time
Yep.
Crisis 4. So that one was a one-player game only. And so, yeah, the design on that one looks really funny. It looks like a Wiener Schnitzel stand. And so, with the red and the yellow. But, yeah, it has this little pedal on it. Looks kind of cheap, like his Fisher-Price quality with the pedal, but I hope it pulls away from that cabinet, because I can't imagine you having to stand back far with a light gun and then have to put your foot right there in front of the cabinet to press on it. But
Right.
no, definitely not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I really admire his arcade. I mean, I got a decent sized one, not like that, but I mean, I'm gonna have to build an Amish shed in my backyard to put more in it if I'm gonna do it. But it's a labor of love, really, because I mean, anything pinball, anything arcade, it's gonna break.
Right.
Yeah.
And you need to be. I mean, part of the fun of it is learning how to fix it. Quite honestly.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
I'm happy to see Ron's got his daughter addicted to games too,
Yeah, she loves this thing.
like mine.
Ron, let me ask you: is there a Dave and Buster's or actual arcade anywhere near you?
No, the closest arcade that I have that's like that would be Nashville. It's probably an hour and a half away. There's some real small ones about 40 minutes from me,
Mm-hmm.
but my arcade is kind of getting bigger than theirs now. So, I mean, well, in fact, I think it is. There's a place called Evansville. It's in the next state over. It's about 40-something minutes from my house, and they've got 2 or 3 little arcades there, but I think I got more than they have. So hopefully,
Should charge 20 at the door for an hour, man.
yeah,
Well, that's why I'm asking, is because I mean he may be the only legitimate arcade in this area.
yeah. In this town, I don't think there's any arcades. None that I know of. Not officially like a business arcade or anything, but I think there's a few guys I know here that have arcades in their home like I do, but they're not as big. Which, hopefully, if everything goes right, I get my expansion done sometime this year, and then I can start spreading this stuff out. And when I start running out of room, then I'll start getting rid of stuff, and like the arcade 1-Ups, I'll start getting rid of them to make more room. But
Right.
the air hockey, it looks good. I added the lights and the skee ball, and they look good.
Nice.
But they're going to go when I need room. And when they go, I can fit a row of 10 arcades down the middle here, back to back, and probably another 4 here. So I don't know. It just depends on the size of the arcade, really. I could take the smaller ones and put down the middle and make, probably fit them in. But that's going to bare minimum give me at least 10 more arcades just by removing these.
Hey Ron, do you have a contractor's license?
Oh no, I don't. No.
Because did you have to rewire anything in your house to make sure you had ample power supply for all this?
Well, right now, yeah, I had to rewire my whole basement. Right now, I'm working with a 100 amp service. That's what I've got. I'm gonna have to change all that out to a 200 amp service probably next year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much maxed out. I know that I am. I'm not having anything blow, nothing like that. No problems yet. But I know as I add the original arcades, they're going to consume a lot more electricity. So,
Oh yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Not
I'm
so
going to
much
have to.
any of the new Stern pinballs won't because they run off of one board.
Right.
And they don't have as much power drain as much as the old games do, especially if you put like LCDs in them and everything else, and yeah, it's less of a power drain. But yeah, the older games definitely will give you.
Right.
We'll pull on the power for you.
I'm definitely wanting to get me some original pinball games. That's just not really in my cards right now because the price of them are just so expensive. But I'd like to get 3 or 4 eventually. And I just wanted to have some kind of a pinball game, so I built this one. And this started out as being frustrated. I bought a oh god, I forgot the name of it. I bought a small toy shop used, and it was used, and I gave $250 for it. And I brought it home and plugged it in and played it, and I'm like, there's nothing 3D about that. It's terrible. So I ripped it all out, sold all the parts, and basically had $100 in a complete cabinet. And I went and bought the best monitor I could find for the money. I don't have the specs now. It's somewhere on my phone, but it's a super fast gaming monitor. Really looks good. And done a little research. My daughter had a Nintendo Switch, so I'm like, well, I'm going to see what the pinball looks like on that. And I'm like, so I played a pinball on her Switch, and I'm like, I was really impressed. So that's what I was like, okay, I'll use that. I need to get some encoder boards and this and that. And I kind of learned as I went. Long story short, had to mod this cabinet quite a bit to get that TV in here. Yeah, and this TV in the back, a buddy gave it to me. It's not the best viewing angle, but as long as you're straight on, it looks good. A Nintendo Switch doesn't support the back screen, so I had to do a workaround, and I've got an old iPhone under there playing video clips on a loop. So
nice.
Whatever I want to play, if I'm going to have it on for a while, I'll just switch the video to whatever matches down here. But the
hey Ron, let me ask you on average, you've bought your arcade 1-ups. You've had to mod those, replacement parts, things like that.
Right.
And then, of course, you've bought authentic arcade cabinets. Which one would you say that you spent more money on? Buying an authentic arcade cabinet and then modding it or fixing, things that may have needed fixing, or putting more money into a 1-up?
Okay, the original 1-ups that I bought, they were cheap, but I was spending $650 to $700 on each one of them to make them playable like a real arcade. So,
I thought I spent a lot.
Jesus, dude.
So what I was doing, you don't want to know how much I got in the Ghostbusters. That's another story. But we'll take this one right here. All right, lit marquee.
The original 12-in-1.
Right. I put graphics on, lit marquee.
Lens trackball.
Yep, trackball from Glenn. The spinner.
His spinner. Yep.
Also, I've got a computer stereo system in here.
Right.
With
nice.
Bass speaker and 2 tweeters. I'm guessing that one's around $600 to $650 in that one.
Yeah, I believe it.
On top of the price, so you're looking at about $900.
No, I think that one's probably what I got in it complete. Now,
has that got the aftermarket marquee from like Angel or Sabos?
this one is from Scott Evans.
Okay.
I don't try to get in the middle of all them marquee war.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But I will
They're all
just
good
tell.
people, though.
I will just tell you this: I've got a buddy that has another guy's marquees, and I got another buddy that has another guy's marquees, and I've got the Scott's. And if you put mine beside his, I prefer mine by far. And I'm not picking sides. I'm not doing it. They all make a good product. I'm not downing anybody. They're all pretty similar in price.
Ron, by the way, the guy I bought the Donkey Kong from had a Cloak and Dagger. It was mounted aftermarket. Yeah, I wanted it bad, and he's like, I'm not selling it. I'm like, you sure? Because I have another $2,000 right here you can have. And he's
Wait,
like, no, I'm not selling it.
Wait, Wolfanoz, you wanted you said you wanted a marquee?
What's that? The Cloak and the marquee for what?
You said the Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
No, not the marquee, the machine, because that's hard
Oh,
to find
machine.
in a while. Yeah, from the movie. Remember the movie?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, oh yeah. This guy had a Cloak and Dagger machine that was converted because it was a conversion kit. It was towards the end of when Atari was done.
Wow.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, this guy had one, and I'm like, "You sure you don't want to sell that instead? Because I'll buy that from you right now." He's like, "No, I'm not selling that." I'm like, "Damn it." So, but yeah, I got the Donkey Kong for about $1,000. So.
Yeah, that's a good deal too. But yeah, I mean, it's what I found out from your original question is by the time on the original ones that I got them up to playing like they should play,
Right.
I was having as much or more money in them as I could buy the original one for the most part. Now, if there was a special like Golden Tee in my area, you cannot get original Golden Tee for less than $2,500 nowhere.
Nope. That's
So,
about right.
You know, and some of them even
Same
higher.
as Star Wars. The original Star Wars is about that much. It's about that much and up.
Right. So some of them games, because of what they are, it's going to be hard to do that. But that being said, you got something that's always going to be worth something if you buy an original one. If you buy an original Tron, original Star Wars, or original, original Paperboy, you're not going to have somebody offer you $350 for it or $200 for it or whatever.
Of course not.
You know, and I where I started steering away from them is when they came out with the second and third generations. Their prices started getting higher and higher, and I was like, okay, well there's some improvements here, so really I'm going to have the same amount of money in it. But what was happening? So like, well, I'm going to give you a for instance here. I bought these two right here. The monitors are excellent. No matter what angle you get, however far, they look great. So I was pleased. I'm like, okay, so I spent some more money, but I got a good monitor. The sticks and stuff, they play pretty well out of the box. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, so I don't have to upgrade it. I put speakers in them, but that's it. And in order to do that, I put a power strip inside them, you know, with the cord coming out. But that's all I did to mod them. They're great. I did the furniture leg to get them game height, but that's it.
That's pretty cool, man.
What happened was they come out with some of these third generation games, and they got even higher, but yet they would put a crappy monitor back in it again. And I'm like, we've done dealt with this problem. We told you how bad we hated these monitors, and now all of a sudden you're putting them back in there. So it's a money thing. They just want the money, just like Tron. They sent Tron out. The sticks are breaking, and you know, so what do? Well, if it's in the warranty, we'll give you another stick that's going to break in a couple of weeks or a month or 2 months, depending on how aggressive you play or how good you are. But it's going to break, and then once you're out of warranty, you're stuck with it. So I'm like, I'm not paying. This is a $700 sign. I've not played it hardly at all because I really don't want to break the game until I'm hoping Glenn will come out with the updated one that's going to be a little longer. If it's not, I'll probably just buy the other one and just deal with it. But
I'm sure he will. He's going to come out with that new one here in a month or two.
Right.
That new stick. So.
Yeah. So until then, don't touch that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a pretty sign. Look at it. It lights up and makes noise.
Do you have his flight yoke in your arcade one up? Or is the original flight yoke in the Star Wars?
No, this is the original one, yes.
Oh, yeah, you should have his flight yoke in your Star Wars. It's amazing.
Well, and I would, but like I said, it's just a little shorter, and it's going to be real uncomfortable. My hands
I meant the flight yoke in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his flight yoke is amazing. It feels arcade. Yeah, it feels arcade quality. So, okay. Better than that one, like Eons. So...
I'll probably have to do that then. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would highly recommend it.
Isn't that the same one you can get at Micro Center?
I think it's the same one, yeah. I think that's what he's selling there, too.
Okay. See, I added this piece to my Star Wars here.
Yep. Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff to mine, too.
And then this marquee, I don't know if Scott sells these now or not, but he said, man, I'm trying something. He said, I'm going to send you something out. You tell me what you think. And...
yeah, the one that came with the system, or the original, is washed out. It doesn't look as good.
So what he does is he makes this sticker, and you got to take it off and put a different light behind it. Very few little mods to do his thing. The only hard part is to get the original sticker off and put this one on. That's the only hard thing to do. But, look at the colors in it. It's amazing. So
yeah, that looks nice.
I told him, I'm like, yeah, man, I love it. And so I don't know if he's making these to sell them or what, but I've kind of lost contact with him lately. I've been busy doing a lot of other things, but I love his other products, you know. So, I mean, it's tomato, whoever marquee that you like, I mean, get it. But
True.
I would definitely like to get more of them. Like, I mean, that's supposed to be red, and it's like a light pink, or maybe that's supposed to be pink. I don't know, but it's real washed out. Like, all of these are kind of, this is the better looking one, but like that's real faded looking.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can tell on your video some of them look washed out. I couldn't tell if that was the camera or, but the other ones look really vibrant.
That's the company.
Right. So, and the only other thing that really always bothered me with the 1-ups, and it's just my preference, I guess, was this piece of plexiglass, because for me that is very uncomfortable. This edge, just laying your hand or arm on it, it just, and they're gonna crack.
Sand that down a little bit too.
Right, and the problem is they're gonna crack no matter what you do. I barely tighten the screws to the point that these little decks actually slide back and forth if you pull on them. Mm-hmm. But eventually they're going to crack, you know, because they're real flimsy and thin. It's not like the Donkey Kong. The Donkey Kong came with one, and it's rounded over. It's already sanded, and it's a lot thicker. So, I mean, that's a nice piece right there. But it looks to me that they could make the graphics a little better quality and save money by not giving you a piece of plexiglass. I mean, plexiglass, it has to be more expensive than making a different sticker, basically. I would think, but what do I know?
Right. Hey, Ron, you know, I noticed there's one thing missing from that whole game room.
What's that?
A change machine.
Right.
Oh, is that it?
Oh,
that's sweet, man. I was looking like, wait a minute, like, where's the change machine? You can't have all those arcades and not have something to break out those quarters.
If I can do this one-handed here.
I think your dollar bill's backwards.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I like that OG change machine, like the brown one.
Yeah,
that they used to have at the one that they used to have at the bowling alleys.
Right. Yeah, I do too, and I wanted one. I just dropped a quarter, but the problem with that is I would lose a lot of real estate by putting that in. But yeah, I really do want one. Probably have
money
one
for beer. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I've got beer everywhere. I've got it. I'm getting low, but I've got some in here.
I just use the Coke machine for it. You might as well.
Yeah, that's what I normally do, and fill it up because it hold about 100 in there. So
obviously you can't with the kids around, but you know.
Right. And then I've got one here, but I only got one beer in there. But I'm low on beer. I've got to make a beer run.
Your Wolfanoz will stack you. He'll stack you up. Make sure you got some.
But yeah, it's right now I'm probably done unless something changes my mind. Probably
well, if you get a new official game, you're gonna have to obviously move some of those 1-ups out. So
right, yeah, and that's what I'm gonna do eventually. And also, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I made this because when you change the marquee out, you have an extra piece here. So all I did was put me 2 pieces of angle on it. Let's see, you might be able to see it better that direction. And now it's a shelf that fits on top of here. So my idea is I'm going to get a light cycle put up here.
Oh, sweet.
So before, without that being up there, you didn't have any room to put in in other words, it'd slide off the back. So I kind of just made that shelf so it wouldn't do that. I just hadn't got a light cycle yet. I'm looking for somebody that can 3D print me one.
Ron, which LED strips are you using around the ceiling? Are those the ones they sell at Home Depot?
No, these come from Amazon. And unfortunately, I wanted to buy some more of these because I love these. They have a lot of different modes, but they discontinued them.
Okay.
They do, or they did on Amazon, anyways. They have a remote that looks like that,
Right.
and I mean they're real. I really like them a lot. You can change these out to, I don't know, man. There's like 150 different modes or something on there, and then you can speed them up, slow them down, dim them. But they discontinued these, and I found some that are real similar.
Right.
But I just haven't tried them yet. But I really do like these. And you can change it to a solid color or just anything. I mean, you can. I kind of just go back and forth on it, and I keep it on this one mostly. But it's so many to choose from. I don't know which one I want. You know.
Yeah, I found some nice ones at Home Depot several years ago, but they were expensive. It was like 35 to almost $40 a strand, and so I needed several of them. And I was like, no, but I started looking around at LED lights, thinking they all had the same modes, and no, because the ones that I saw, they had like that Knight Rider theme, like a red streak of light going all the way through, and so a lot of LED lights that I found out later didn't have the same modes, and that's why I figured out the ones from Home Depot were much more expensive than the casual ones you'd find on Amazon.
And these, because of the length they are, they're I think they were like 80 something a piece, but they're really long.
Jesus.
They're like 32 foot a piece.
Yeah,
so
that's about right.
I've got 2 kits about 30 foot long in here, and it goes almost all the way around. It stops over by the motorcycle game. So, but you can see this thing does it. I can change the speed.
Oh, that looks nice right there. I like that. And you said it was $80 for a strand for 32 feet?
I think they're 80 something. Yeah, I can look back and see what I paid for them, but I believe it was 80 something dollars, and it's 32 foot. But they're really heavy built. The remotes are heavy. They're not that real, cheaper, flimsier stuff, and they have an unbelievable amount. They even have a music setting where you can do it by the music. Like if I hit that,
yeah,
different ones.
Yeah, well, check Home Depot, see if they have them in stock, because and maybe Lowe's too. A lot of people don't know this, but they have an extensive arcade selection.
Yeah,
for like accessories and stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to go check that out and see what all they have, because we don't have one in this town. I've got one in the Evansville place I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go check that out and see what they got there.
Yeah, check their online website, because a lot of stuff they don't have in the store. I think they may have the lights. And, of course, this is all pre-COVID, so I don't know, what their inventory is nowadays. But
Home Depot does. You just got to match it up, that's all. I'd bring one with you.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah, that's a nice little setup there.
But yeah, they do pretty good, man. I've had them, I don't know, close to 3 years now without a problem. So.
Well, that's some good quality, because I know a lot of the LED lights we see, sometimes the bulbs on them, or not the bulbs, but the LED lights will start changing different colors.
Right. And these lights here that look neon, they're advertised, I think, a little false advertisement, in my opinion. They say...
well, not like one-up, though, but yeah. Sorry, I had to.
But the way they talk is they're completely flexible, and they are, but they aren't. And the reason why I say that, the way I have them bent, they're not meant to bend that way. And even though they're advertised completely flexible, you're supposed to lay them on the side and bend. You can bend them like crazy that way. But this way, if you bend it a little too much,
right,
they'll change color and mess it up. So
yep, I put them in a pin. I actually have it's kind of ice blue color. I have them in my T2 along the wire forms of the ramps.
Right.
So it makes it look. It lights it up, and makes it look cool. So.
But yeah, I mean, I'm probably these other lights you can see. I've got them turned off. I'm going to pull them down. They keep breaking, I only got one working right now. I've got a pile of them in the back that are broke. And I was going to save parts and fix them, but they only work about 3 months maybe, and they break. So, yeah, I'm probably done with them. And it's an arcade and not really a disco anyway, so.
Might as well put the ball in too, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Get one of those shirts and some bell bottoms.
Yeah.
But this honestly touches on another topic. I know Wolfanoz, you and I have talked about it, but in our home arcade scene, retro gaming, there seems to be a lot of people. I wouldn't say false advertisement, but entities trying to push their products out to the point where, for example, I've seen some recent posts saying certain light guns don't need calibration. I've seen companies and other resellers trying to kind of one up each other, trying to get, no pun intended, trying to coerce people to buy from them, and they're making misleading statements in the process of doing so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, there are better options, and everybody thinks when they get a certain cab from a certain company that the tech that they're using is the best tech ever, and it really isn't. There's better tech out there. You may spend a little bit more, but I mean, even aim track, for example, is better than what you're going to get with Sinden. So that's just my personal opinion. Nobody else is telling me that. Aim track's better than Sinden, and on top of that, you have better options than that. You have a gun 4 IR, and you have AE light guns. So I mean, Ekong did a review on all the guns, and it went to show you that not only are you getting a cutoff real estate on, one-up games with, a white border, you already have a small screen to begin with. So you're cutting off your gain, number one. Number two, you're getting erratic guns with it. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but it's just go ahead and watch Ekong's review on light guns, and he'll proof positive shows you how Sinden guns aren't that great. So,
was this a recent video or one he did about a year or two ago?
Within the last few months. He did a video on it with his wife showing how accurate the light guns are.
Yeah, I seen part of that, and I never got a chance to finish watching that one.
Yeah, it's worth a watch because it shows you how, and I'm not trying to say Sinden's, it is it is for the money, but there are better options, is what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to say don't buy a Sinden, but you can research better options if you're going to do everything on your own. So.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I really just can't get past the border.
Right.
It has its moments, like when I've done a few reviews, I'm sitting here probably about a good 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet away from a monitor, and I just want to test and see if something works. It's a great option for that if I don't feel like getting up, standing back,
cutting off a screen with a 13-inch monitor. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But I would say this.
Terminator is a prime example, by the way.
Yeah, the only thing with the Sinden light gun, it's pretty much the only commercially available light gun you can use that's being sold, because our RPEG Ray, he's the only one pushing out gun 4 IRs. It's pretty much a do-it-yourself hobby to get that working. And then of course you have the AE light gun. They're not really doing mass production right now. I mean, it's available here and there.
There just needs to be better competitors, I guess, is what it is. They're just not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you could walk into a store and go buy a light gun. I mean, It's all niche upon niche.
I would give the edge to aim track over Sinden, quite honestly. But then again, with aim track, you're doing a lot of the setup yourself. So.
True. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the only other thing you do have is the Wii Dolphin bar with the Wii remote, which isn't technically a light gun. It's a mouse that doesn't have overall support for calibration.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
To me personally, because I'm old school like Ron is, I just can't use a Wii Wii controller as a gun. I just can't.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel weird. So.
I mean, it's great for for $9 you got one laying around that you bought
Right.
back in 2008, and you just want to play every now and then.
And that's great. I mean, that's what all you have, and I understand that. I'm not, shooting it down, but personally, on my own personal level, I got rid of my Wii eons ago, and I don't have them sitting around, and I'm not going to go, scrounging for a Wii controller to, I'd rather get a real gun that I can play games with. So
True.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but there are a lot of diehards out there. I mean, they get some real stuff that you can mod in it.
Oh yeah.
They got some really impressive setups. Wolfanoz, any latest projects you're working on?
Like I said, man, I'm just playing around with. Right now, I'm playing around with the Ambernick handheld. Right now, I haven't decided if I'm going to do a full image on it or not. If I do, it'll be probably a smaller one.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just kind of like feeling out, pushing limits with it, see what I can do. It's pretty impressive for a small handheld, but
Right.
that, and I've been kind of playing with retrobet and see how that. It's basically just. It's like a Batocera basically for PC, but you can do a lot more with it, obviously, because it's not PC.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think that's one of my biggest problems is when I can't really decide on the front end. I don't like using PCs because they're bulky, they pull a lot of power and stuff. I love the Pi, but you can't get Technoparrot and anything else on there that's really
I'm not doing
robust.
anything Pi until the 5, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Because I personally, I'm like Jason said, it's like level 1. We mostly do this to see what we can push with small boards.
Yep.
Not just repeatedly put something out with new art and everything else. So.
Yeah. I love that tinkering aspect. And the thing I love about the Pi is it's small as a credit card. I mean, you can put it in your pocket. It's low on resources, on power. And, if you're just trying to run Super Mario or, some of the lower end main games and stuff, it's perfect. I mean, I don't see the need to use a big bulky PC,
No.
with an 850
instance,
watt power supply.
For any PC build, I have a small NUC that runs everything, and it's got an ATI GPU inside of it on the board, and it runs fine. Most of the stuff, I can play like all these games that Ron has right now that he's playing smoothly without any issues. So, I mean, yeah, I know. I was shocked by it too on a NUC, on a small,
Now, how much does
basically
that
on a small
cost?
PC. It was about $500.
I'm looking for another option in my Ghostbusters. Right now,
Okay.
I'm running a Pi, and I thought about going with a PC build, but
Yeah,
I'm not up into computers that much, so I'm gonna.
Not
need
only
help
that
if I
though, but
do
it doesn't generate a lot of heat because it only runs at about 30 watts.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I was looking for, and that's mainly why I got it. So, thank you.
Right. But my main game I'm wanting to run, and I bought a CD. It's the newer Ghostbusters game that's remastered.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I want to run it, and I bought it for a PS3 and a PC, so I could put either system in there and run that game. But I would like to go with a PC because I'd like to run that game plus a lot of other games, I guess to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but like I said, I've probably spent. I know I've spent way too much on that game, so I'm probably not going to do anything.
Uh-huh.
I don't have the bottom plugged in now. I'll plug it in, but after it warms up, I put a fog machine in there with a fan, and it kind of blows it out. But I just kind of went over the top on that. It was just I like the Ghostbusters movie. I'm not like a weird Ghostbusters fan, but I like the movies. I mean,
Right.
and I just wanted to make a theme cab, and I like, the hardest part of this build was that car. I don't know if you ever seen any of my videos on it or whatever, but I took a regular car and I had to drill everything out and put 3mm LED bulbs in them. The hardest part was really hiding the wires inside so you really didn't see it. And you can see them in there because I got them in heat shrink, but I run them down that inside post in there, so it's really hard to see that.
Right.
But I've got it running on a 555 chip and a little
That's
push
definitely
button.
not running from. That's definitely not from one up directly. That's for sure.
Yeah, and so I can change all the settings. There's like 6 or 7 different settings for the lights that blink. But
Yeah, that's a nice little setup you got there. I like how you did that.
and that's just a piece of metal conduit that
You know, and that's my thing. If I'm spending $600 or $700 for a cab or anything, like add on some extras that would really surprise me. Like that little touch on. If I'm getting a cabinet from somebody or making it myself, like what else are you doing to it other than the basic stickers and the bare minimum?
right. Yeah, it's for a 3/4 inch cap or 3/4 size cabinet to pay the $700 prices and $600 prices, and to still have a monitor issue or you can't play it or your stick's gonna fall off, man. That's like wrong.
Yeah, you don't want your stick falling off. That's never good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just takes me back to like when I would pre-order, games from GameStop. Like you would get the special edition. Like I got night vision goggles when I pre-ordered Modern Warfare 2 back in like 2007 or whenever it was, 2008.
Yeah, I remember that.
But you figure that was like what 125, 150, whatever it might have been. But when you pre-ordered those exclusive editions, it came with some good stuff.
Right.
And that's just kind of what I expect if I was getting a premium item. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, like if I got it from Arcade 1-Up or Blitz, maybe a football, an autographed football, something I could put on top of the unit, something a little extra.
Exactly. And like that cabinet, I wasn't going to buy any more, but I found that at a Walmart, I don't know, about 40-something miles away from my house for $199. And I'm like, man, for $199, I'm a player all day long. And it plays pretty good. They're definitely pushing the limits of the actual little board in there, and not on this game. But let me get out and show you what I'm talking about.
It's a lot more at that price point. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like even for me, like if 1-Ups are on average 125, 150, maybe 200, it's more tempting than paying like $500 or $600.
Right.
Like for me, and I know like for you, because you're a jack of all trades. There's a lot of things you do. Like me, I got computer parts, video cards, memory, fireworks, RC cards. There's a whole lot of stuff I can buy in that price range.
Yeah, exactly. And the only thing I done to this one while it's updating, I didn't know it needed to update. I added some lights to the coin door, the fake coin door, I guess.
Oh, sweet.
Made it look better. But and on this game, just because I wanted it to look more like the real one on the Tron here, I added a real coin door on this one. So, but I mean, and it's wired to the switch, but.
That's all sick though, man. That's a nice. That's some good stuff you got there.
I don't know what it's asking me.
What is that? The Wi-Fi version?
Yes.
I mean, there's a mod for that you can add Ninja Turtles to that now.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's right. They released two different versions of The Simpsons. One was without Wi-Fi, and the second one was with Wi-Fi, right?
I think the only caveat with that though is if you put that, because it gives you a menu to choose from, it doesn't allow you to play Simpsons Bowling if you like playing that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, that's what I was going to show you on this, but it's updating right now, so I can't. I'll have to wait. Or I think it's updating. Why is it saying retry?
Hey, Wolfanoz, do you know what emulator you need? Or what's the issue of why Simpsons Bowling doesn't run on the Pi?
Simpsons Bowling honestly has a problem with MAME, so that's not an easy ROM to get running. I mean, it depends on the ROM version, obviously, but there are ROM versions that do run, but they like some of the imagery in the game doesn't look right. So a lot of it has to do with the emulation itself. So
what emulator are they using on 1-Up then?
I think they're probably using MAME of some sort, I'm guessing. But they had to use one of those ROMs that doesn't fully show everything, I guess.
Okay, I've never looked into that one because I've never really cared, but just interesting.
I mean, it runs well. But getting the right ROM for that is tricky because I've dealt with it myself. So
Okay.
So the bowling, it didn't play bad, but the load times are like a lot longer. So I think they kind of stretch the limitations of their board.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll see a little bit of.
yeah, because it is 3D. So
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, but for what the little board is doing, I mean, it's not bad. There's a little bit of. I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for when they pan around or do something. It's not really a. You guys probably know the word I'm talking about, but
it's like a lag to it basically when it pans around.
Yep, a little bit, and that's
that's the GPU stack in the board they're using. It's almost similar to the Pi because the Pi does the same thing.
right. But
So.
I mean, really, I like it. The only problem I don't like about the bowling game, it's too easy. I mean, when you play it 4 or 5 games, you can pretty much get strike after strike.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's
probably because it's slowed down too.
yeah, probably.
Probably part of it.
But if you could change the difficulty and which I don't know, I may stand corrected. You might be able to. Hadn't really messed with the game, but everybody said the same thing I'm saying, so probably you can't. But I mean, I can pretty much bowl a strike right after a strike. I mean,
I don't know. I'm old school. My favorite bowling game is still Capcom Bowling. Other than Capcom Bowling, I used to play at all the local bowling alleys and bars that had it pretty much nearby. So,
but for $199, man,
right? You can't beat it. Yeah.
Just for having a cabinet and a decent monitor that if I wanted to gut it and just do whatever I wanted to, that's not bad. I mean, so
well, they're never going to charge that right up front either. They're going to charge that down the road, but they want their money up front. So,
but yeah, I mean, so I wasn't going to buy any more, and I walked in the store and they had it at $199. I'm like, oh, man, I'm grabbing that $199. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, $199. That's a good price range.
Fault anybody for that? You can't fault anybody for that price.
And another problem I have when I pre-order something from Arcade One Up, which I quit doing that because of Burger Time. But when I pre-ordered Burger Time and I sold it, it used to sit right there. I got good money because people want it because they didn't make them but for a little while, but they'll probably start making it again. But the game never played good. They give you some orthogonal gates to make it play better. They did make it play better, but Burger Time, the main game on it, played like crap because I could play it better on my Ghostbusters cabinet than I could on that one.
Okay.
Then to put a vertical game with a horizontal games, why do they? And they keep wanting to do that. I don't understand it. Put all vertical games with vertical and all horizontal with horizontal. I don't want to see all that. I mean, you get a cab and it's got 3 games or 12 games on it. They all should be likewise games. Vertical, the same stick, 4-way or 8-way. Just pick whichever and make that for that cabinet. They just throw anything on there and you buy it not thinking, or that's what happened to me. I didn't really think about it. I just bought it because I was like, ooh, Burger Time. I love the cabinet. Yeah, I'm wanting that. And it was such a disappointment.
That's just basically going back to the QA matters that basically stemmed around that time when QA started to fall apart.
Right.
So it was roughly around that time because I remember Super Pac-Man coming out and one of the buttons didn't register when you went to push it. I think it's one of the fire buttons for the rest of the games on it.
Wow.
So, yeah, they needed a USB update to fix it.
Did you see my video from CES 2019? The Burger Time was originally the karate fight champion.
Yes,
or karate.
I watched that. Yep.
And it was the Burger Time, but they got rid of the karate. But it had 4 sticks on it.
Yep,
I don't know. That was a weird. It had a weird. It was a weird look because you had 4 sticks on it, 4 joysticks, and then you put Burger Time on it.
Yeah.
And then the problems got worse when they hired a Street Fighter champion to be their QA person. So, just an observation.
There was a few things that happened, and one thing, man, Glenn was pretty nice about it.
Glenn's an amazing guy because I know him personally.
He is, yes, he is, and I'm gonna tell you, but for a company to have somebody that is kind of a front man to do some of the things he did, it's kind of tacky. That's a whole nother story.
They did him dirty. I'll just say that. I'm not going to go any further than that. So.
Right. Oh, I know some of it too, but yeah, when that really was the first thing that put a bad taste in my mouth, like a real bad taste. I already had a few other things that I was dealing with, like the other Pac-Man that I had bought from them. That's what started it. But I bought a Pac-Man and I replaced it with this one. And when it come in, instead of me taking it back to the store, which I should have did, I went through their customer support, and where the panel fits in the way the slot was, it was cracked.
Oh.
So anyhow, to get me by, I drilled 3 holes and filled it full of glue and sawdust. And you couldn't tell it, and it was actually probably just as strong. But the point is, I bought a game that was broke, and the other panel had something wrong. It was broke too. That's what it was. I did both of them the same way, and then the front panel on it was messed up here. The only thing that they gave me that wasn't broke was this front panel. They sent me this panel and this one 2 different times, and the way they sent it to me was a piece of cardboard on this side, a piece of cardboard on that side, and some tape. And they come in broke worse than the ones I had.
Yeah, the 12-in-1 I purchased had a cracked protector on it too, and it took them 3 months to replace it.
Yeah. Well, they quit sending me side panels. I kept messaging them, so I just gave up. I'm like, man, forget it. I fixed it. I'm done with them. It's not worth my time.
Nope.
And then when Burger Time happened, that was really the icing on the cake. And then I pre-ordered some stuff. I pre-ordered this game right here. It's got the yellow. This is the special edition. It's got the yellow on it. I prefer the blue look, but this is the special edition I pre-ordered.
Yeah.
So what made me mad, I pre-ordered this game, but these other guys get their game 2 months before I get mine.
Oh, man.
So how the hell does that work? It may not have been 2 months, but it was a while.
It's called kissing derriere is what it's called.
Right.
So you pre-ordered yours direct, and everybody ordered theirs through like Best Buy and stuff, and yours came last.
Yeah, but now theirs wasn't the special edition, but still, it was the damn game. Other than this, the only difference was the fake P-molding and
right.
The graph.
Let me say this though. I'm not totally slamming one up. Obviously, most of us own them. And they've done a service bringing arcade back to the home. But
exactly.
But they've gone extremely downhill with their taking care of their customers and the people, keeping food on their table.
Well,
so that's just how it is, and they're not going to be around if they continue down this slide. I just hope they realize that. I would think they would.
Well, and that's my thinking. See, I used to be friends with Scott, the CEO, and here's why I'm not no more. When I ordered Tron, I was going to be a surprise for my kids. Okay, so I ordered it. I had it shipped to my job. Okay, now FedEx is the worst people to ship anything. Well, I'm waiting, and it's supposed to be delivered. Yeah, it's supposed to be delivered, and so it's late. I keep checking FedEx. It says it's running late. 4 days later, it says it was delivered 4 days prior. I'm like, no, it wasn't. I'm at a place of business. We're here every day. It's not delivered. So I try to go through all that stuff and figure it out and FedEx is like, yep, we delivered. I'm like, you didn't deliver it here. It's probably their driver stole it. They've been having all kind of problems.
It happened to me once too.
So I got in touch with Scott, and I was like, hey, Scott, man, I got this coming. It's a Christmas present, and it says it was delivered. It's not delivered. What do I need to do? You're going to help me out with this, blah, blah. He's like, well, that's nothing that we can do about it. You got to get in touch with the shipper. I'm like, really? The shipper, So I was going to be out a $700 arcade. Yeah. So
no.
What I did was I got in touch with customer support, and said, "Hey man, I'm a friend of Scott Evans, you know, blah blah blah. This is what happened." And the dude calls me. So I'm at work, you know. I'm like, "Yeah, I can talk. I'm at work, but you know, I can talk." And he's
Right.
like, "Well, how do you know Scott?" I'm like, "Well, I'm kind of big in the gaming community, and I'm friends with him on Facebook, and you know, he's a member of my group, blah blah blah." And I kind of fuzzed a little. I said, "He told me to give you a call." And, "Oh yeah, man, we'll send you one right out." But Scott wasn't going to do crap about it, man. I was just going to be out $700 when they're the ones that.
It's not my deal to deal with that stuff. So I'll
Yeah.
a good way to treat a friend too. That's pretty bad.
But I mean, if I ship something to you through eBay and you don't receive it, it's coming back on me.
Right.
I'm responsible. They're responsible for it.
No,
Yeah.
that's still money in their pocket. That's why.
Well,
Exactly.
and then the thing is too, when you're dealing with merchandise that big, all of these items should have insurance on it.
Exactly.
Yep.
They ask you to verify the actual dollar amount. They say, how much is this worth? 200, 300, or whatever. And, you know, it doesn't even have to be the retail cost. It should be their production amount because it's not costing them anything because they didn't buy it from a retailer. So it would only be whatever their cost is, which is probably the Walmart cost of $50.
Yeah. Yeah, it can't be I mean, it's got to be a less than 100 anyways. But for them to do that, so it's just been downhill, and you know,
Yeah, you can see the trend. It's not hard to see. You know,
Yeah.
it's just everybody's starting to see it now. Like if you go to Reddit and look at the Reddit forums, there's more angry people in the A1 Up community than not right now. I mean, they're angry. They're really angry over this issue with Blitz and MVC2.
And another thing that kind of set a bad taste in my mouth too was before that happened, when I did my first annual arcade get together, a few people canceled out, but I still had let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 4 people from pretty good distance and several people that stopped by that was semi-local. We did some live stuff with B Kong. You probably remember it.
Yep.
But we did.
Yep,
I mean, we had a great time. And I tried to do it this year, but things fell through. But anyhow, I messaged Scott, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm doing this. You know, Arcade 1-Up. I had mostly Arcade 1-Ups at that time.
Right.
And, you know, would you like to contribute to it? I want to do a game giveaway, blah, blah, blah." He looked at the message, never messaged me back, never said nothing. So me and the guy that's dead now, Chris Stevens, we did an arcade giveaway. We split the cost in it, but he couldn't come because his wife went into labor. And, you know, he wanted to be here, but he did a live video with us at the first part of it. But Damon, he came and brought a few little items to do it on the giveaway too. But I mean, I'm doing this for advertisement for their company, and he can't even contribute.
Right.
And
Wow.
and it's not like I'm not and I'm not saying I'm a big person. I'm not trying to be a well-known person, but I am pretty known in the gaming community because all of what I'm doing. You know, it's not I don't seek it out, but I'm in a lot of groups, and when I have time, I do a lot of videos, and I've done a lot for them. And for them to just look at the message and just blow me off, it's like, okay,
Doesn't shock me though.
exactly. But it would have been cheaper if they could have said, "Well, you know, we'll give you what it costs, or we'll do." I mean, I'm not asking for anything free, really, but I'm helping do this. You would think they would want to do something.
Well, it's promotion. I mean, most people don't realize, you know, like all these YouTube videos and so either speaking positively or negatively, when you're advertising, it's going to cost you at least $25,000 to just run TV spots and all that other stuff. And OneUp doesn't have the market or spend the money to run like movies or TV commercials. And so you get a lot of free advertisement, especially, you know, when we create Facebook groups that are a niche that are already targeting consumers. They don't have to have a huge budget amount to do any of that stuff.
Exactly.
So you figure spending $100 or $50 on basic advertisement or running a promotion, in some groups or whatever, that's nothing. That's chicken feed.
And what it does, it brings the community together even more, gets everybody to want to buy more. So it's a win for them all the way around. So I don't understand the direction they're going, but it's not that we're trying to bash them, but we've said this to them, we've talked to them, we've tried to let them know why we're frustrated in certain areas, and they're just like, well, let me make another Pac-Man, and you know what I'm saying? They're just about the money. Hey, yeah, you're in business, make the money, but how you're going to make more money is address some of these problems. And dude, people are going to be buying them left and right. And I'll just say this, and I'm not bashing nobody. I bought a At Games Legends Ultimate cabinet.
Right.
And I just previously sold it. And the only reason I sold it was because I had a guy kept wanting it, and I got decent money out of it. And I already have a game that plays a bunch of other games. But that being said, I don't like the game shape because it's a little bit too thin.
Right.
But I like the width of the game. I love the height of the game. Sitting there looking straight on it, I love it. And I'm gonna tell you this: for a game to be $500 when it came out, which was actually cheaper than some of the arcade one-ups at the time that came out, had a bigger monitor, a lot better monitor. I mean, a lot better monitor. Not even in the ballpark. A lot better. And the controls were 100% better. Only thing I did to my controls is the shim kit and the trackball, because I heard if you play it aggressively, it would break unless you put it in there. So I did the shim kit, which was some 3D little printed parts. It was like $5 or $7. And it was probably 35, 40 minutes of my time. And it wasn't hard to do. But that's all I ever did to it, all I ever wanted to do to it, because the game played perfect. So if they can make that game for $500 and sell it and make a lot of money on it, and it's 10 times better than an arcade one-up and bigger, I don't want to hear no...
I think, yeah, part of it, I think, too, is there's no competition for them in the home arcade market.
Right.
Other than not like, I mean, At Games is kind of an all-in-one solution, obviously, in a sense.
Yep.
And, you really have no one else making titles that are just like single titles with maybe 2 or 3 other games in it that they don't have a license for.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's really no competition. So that gives them, in a sense, like carte blanche to do what they want.
Exactly right.
I don't know.
And the only reason, like I said, I'm not I want one cab, and I've got it right there, that plays a lot of games. Other than that, I would rather have a dedicated cabinet, I guess you say. So,
right.
Essentially, that's what the arcade. Even though that's a 12-in-1, I'm pretty much a Centipede guy. I leave it on Centipede, but it's more of a dedicated cabinet. You get what I'm saying? I mean, the Pac-Man.
Did you upgrade the monitor in that too, Ron?
No, I haven't. I haven't done any monitors.
Looks good.
It looks good as long as you're looking straight on it.
Of course.
Hey Ron, I got my camera on if you can see me. So I was just taking a quick look at Glenn's Tron stick.
Oh yeah.
And I see what you're talking about as far as the hands. Like I could barely get my 4th finger in there.
Right.
So it's a nice grip, obviously good quality, but you can see how.
And I hope that he has one made that's longer.
I'm sure he's probably taken that into consideration. He's pretty savvy on that stuff.
Yeah, and I would probably say I have average size hands. I mean, I could palm a basketball, but yeah, this is kind of tight if you're wrapping your hand around it.
Right.
It's not too uncomfortable, but you're just gonna have to double up a little bit. It's more comfortable if I just have 3 fingers on it like this.
Yep.
So if you have big hands like I do.
I mean, if Level 1 was here, he'd probably get excited, man. So,
But yeah, that's the only reason I haven't purchased it yet. I'm hoping that he's going to come out with one longer because, man, my hands are just too big. My hands. I don't. I'm 5'10". I'm not a real big person, but my hands are real big.
Not only that, but if you end up getting a Satan's Hollow, Ron, you could paint that. You could probably paint that like a translucent orange, because that's about what the stick is on a Satan's Hollow, and use that for that as well. If you get another stick, because that's the same stick that Satan's Hollow uses.
Would you feel more comfortable playing like this though, like your finger at the top, and then?
Hell no.
Yeah, so you're pretty much, you have to play like this then.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I guess with Afterburner and some of the other airplane games and stuff, I would be more comfortable with this.
So, what do you guys think about Arcade 1Up copying the stick design?
I've heard things through the grapevine that it's not looking good for the person that got taken advantage of. So
Really?
Oh yeah, like legally. So.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like for y'all to talk to me off camera on this, because I hadn't heard about any of it, and
yep.
I don't know how that's gonna. That don't even sound right, because I really thought Arcade 1Up was in a pinch on that one.
Yeah, well,
I guess if you got money, you can push it around then.
Oh, you can act like you own the world, basically, is what it is. So.
Yeah, I think everybody should band together on that deal then. That's what I think.
Well, if it becomes more public knowledge, then, if that's indeed the case, then, yeah. So.
Well, there are some loopholes with it, but I won't speak publicly on that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, just y'all can message me and let me know a little bit of what, because like I said, I hadn't heard much about that, for a while, but
yeah.
It's wrong what they did though, because I watched some of the video in the beginning on it, and I'm like, yeah, that's a direct copy right there.
I don't put anything past it at this point, sadly. I mean, after they released all the original stuff and everybody was happy, it just took a downhill slide from there, unfortunately. So,
yeah,
definitely. All right, so we've been going for about a good hour and a half. Any of you guys have any final thoughts before we log off here?
Not really, other than I'd like to see what's going to happen with the Arcade 1Up, and I hope they, I hope they go in the right direction. But it seems that they're on a big trend now, and like I said, unless something changes, I'm pretty much done. Unless I'm getting something real cheap, I guess I'll say.
That's true. Wolfanoz, how about yourself?
Nah, man, just doing my thing and just trying to have fun where I can. You know what I mean? Just trying to, not so much with trying to get my game room opened up and unpacked right now still, and it's been 4 months. So
I feel you. Hey, did you tell anybody you won that pinball machine?
Yeah, I did. I won a pinball machine. I won a Cactus Canyon remake.
Oh man!
In a raffle. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I was shocked when I got the text message with it. Thought it was fake.
I need to do a GoFundMe for a pinball machine, I think.
I was pretty shocked by that. So,
I just think that, I love virtual pinball, VPin, but it just never compares to the real thing. It's just, I was standing when I was at Arcade Expo a few years ago. I played on the VPin, the actual, Pinball FX cabinet that they had. VPin was like 42-inch, and then playing against all the real arcade machines or pinball machines. You just can't replace it. You just can't simulate it. It's just night and day.
I mean, you can literally feel the ball rolling through the machine and everything else. You don't get that on a virtual cap. You know what I mean?
It's just that feel of it, like the ball, hitting the sounds, going boom, boom.
Yep.
And having to bump the machine, you just can't animate that. You just can't redo it.
Do you know the only machine to have a pinball knocker in it is Qbert?
Really?
Arcade-wise, yeah. So when Qbert falls off the side, and hits the bottom, the pinball knocker goes off.
Oh yeah. I knew that you're talking about an actual arcade, yeah.
Yep.
Wait a minute, but there's a hybrid arcade machine I thought that has that.
I think there's one more. But that's pretty much
the only reason I knew that I was thinking about, my wife loves Qbert, and I was like, I'm trying to do things to get her in the game room and more active here. And I was like, well, I'll just build one. I found a company that had cabs, because I couldn't find one. And they had all the parts. And I was like, well, I can build one for $1,300, $1,400, be brand new. And then the option was to have that. And I don't think any of them I ever played had that hooked up or working in the arcade. I don't remember it anyway. So that's
some of the times they wouldn't replace the knocker in them. They just go bad. Right. It happens so much.
Right.
So I mean, a pinball knocker technically doesn't happen too much when people. It only happens when people get free games usually. Right. So, but it would go off all the time because I mean, obviously you're dying a lot more than anything in that game.
Yeah, I can't play that game at all. My wife, man, she can understand the controls and play it instantly. And I'm like, I try to move left, and I'm not moving left.
Like, that's why when you play it on emulation, it's hard because the joysticks were set different in the arcade.
Right.
So, different gate. So.
Are you guys familiar with that hybrid game? It was a hybrid pinball machine with Pac-Man. Or I think it might have been.
Baby Pac-Man.
Yeah, Pac-Man Jr. Yeah, Baby Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about because I saw it. I was like, oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, getting working one of those is difficult too. I mean, because obviously the pinball machine parts didn't get fixed as easy, by anybody who owned the machine or any distributor. Either they didn't know how to fix the pinball portion and just kept the video game portion running.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, you go to play the game and you'd go to. Go into one of those areas where you can go through the side of the map and it would start the pinball game and the pinball machine wouldn't work. That's what I remember anyway.
Right.
So, but yeah, I've seen working ones. It's pretty cool.
I can remember them growing up as a kid, and I was like, I like Pac-Man. But, nowadays, I guess because they're kind of rare to get them working, they're at least $2,500 if you find one working decent.
Yeah, that was more like chocolate and your peanut butter kind of thing back then. They wanted to experiment, so.
Oh, sweet. But. All right, guys. Well, it's been a nice live stream, and I definitely thank you guys for joining. But, Ron, I really hope you get a channel. I mean, even if, you're just doing some handyman stuff, man, that would be pretty cool to see because you do a whole lot of stuff.
It's more entertaining than Illuminati stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, because that's the stuff that I watch. I watch a lot of hobbyists, people doing experiments, Gamers Nexus. I watch some Linus, but I watch a lot of channels where I'm actually learning something. Like, I don't watch a lot of retro gaming stuff because a lot of it's simple, but, I wish, if devs, something educational where I'm learning something, like how to do something that's very unique. That's a lot of stuff I watch.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. All right, followers, subscribers, hope you guys catch this later on the live stream. And we definitely want to thank Wolfanoz and Ron Fowler for joining us today. It's pretty fun, and we'll have to do it here in the future.
No problem, man. Good times. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yep.
All right, you guys too.
All right.